Hey guys, Zeb here back again. I got the rest of my records from Phoenix in the mail today, so I haven't had a chance to listen to any of them, but I thought I'd show them to you guys now. Red's over here napping on the couch. She's awake, but she's just resting. Let's see. So first we have Curtis Mayfield on Curtum Records. This is Back to the World. I got these records that I'm showing now at Desert Grooves in Phoenix, which are not sure if it's not technically in Phoenix. I think it's in like southeast of Phoenix, like Chandler or Mesa or around that area. This was $20. It was a nice shop, small shop. I don't know what the gentleman that owned it was, but I had a short conversation with him. Very nice. He was his shop, I mean, was not big, but it wasn't full of fluff. He had some good records on the wall. He had a television marquee moon, I recall that. An original Mysterioso Thelonious Monk. He had a pretty good jazz section. Honestly, at this point, I was trying to avoid spending money, so I didn't really fully go through the jazz section. I think I looked at the wall, I went through the new arrivals there and what have you, but it was a good shop. It was clean. It doesn't look like, I mean, if he may clean the records, but they're not like in new sleeves or anything. So, and I clean everything that I get no matter what, except for the used records from the in-groove, because I know that he properly cleans them. This is my second Fever Tree album, Creation. I'm not sure if it's their second album. I believe it's either their second or their third album. I believe it's their third album. I have their first album, Fever Tree. This is, if you don't know, I guess, I don't know if you would consider it psychedelic rock or hard rock, but I would just consider it, rock and roll on the heavier side for the time. This is in stereo. This is $20, which is probably on the higher end for this record, but it's in really nice shape. That's the thing, these are, you could consider that cheap nowadays, I guess. This is not in nice shape, but it was $8, and I don't have it, and I wouldn't generally buy a record in this condition. It's a Frisbee. It's legitimately a Frisbee. But there's very few records that I would buy that are, it looks like it would play through. It has the kind of, it's been played a lot. It has no gloss left. But the vinyl on these sounds like kind of pretty crappy when they're in good shape. I have some very nice Bo Diddley records. However, if I can clean it up, after cleaning, it plays through. It's totally resellable for $8, because these are some of those records where it's like people pay money for them when they're not even playable, which is kind of funny to me, but it's obviously because people buy them. On the Black Chest label, Deep Groove, mono obviously, and the front cover presents well, so it's kind of just a bit of an artifact, I guess. I have that's 1 dozen berries. I have berries on top, I think is what it's. He threw this in for free. He had it priced at $5. This is Buck Owens and his Buckaroos live at Carnegie Hall in stereo. And it's just in nice shape. don't know if this is real stereo or fake stereo, so, but for $5, I didn't need to look that up. I can't stand listening to things when it's panned, whether it's purposely mixed that way or it's because it's, you know, mono masters that were somehow electronically turned into stereo. I can't do it. I don't. It's even to the point where this is a very strange tangent digression, but like a lot of times there's jazz records where if it's in stereo and the instrumentation, depending on how it's mixed, when people are soloing, when it's in one channel, it just kind of takes me out of it. Even though I'm obviously, if you were listening to live band on the stage, you know, the instrument can only an acoustic instrument can only produce noise from one source point. It's not coming out of speakers, but it gets me. So like early Beatles albums in stereo, the ones that are split with the vocals and instrumentation channel to channel, I can't do that. So this is I haven't cataloged this yet, and I'll bring up that why in a second. It's Man from Two Worlds, Chico Hamilton. Chico is one of my favorite jazz artists, probably top 5 jazz artists. I will acquire anything that he leads on for sure, but pretty much plays on. Especially the Impulse titles are good. This is one of the Impulse titles I do not have. This is mono. I believe this is on the orange and black label, but it's got this, and it's in glossy cardboard jacket. But it has this, it's cracked open. It has this kind of label on the spine, and I don't know if you can make it out or if it will focus, but it's printed with, you know, as if it's the spine of the record. And it is an original mono jacket. It's not, and it's a mono record. So it must be a later reissue. It says manufactured by Capitol Records, Inc. USA on the label. So even though it's the orange and black label, it must just be maybe a later reissue, and that's why they put the, I don't know, I have to do research. If you know, let me know. Wyoming Dave, you're a wise man. You absorb a lot of knowledge. You've been around the game a lot longer than I have. Maybe you know. Lee, maybe you know. This is also kind of a record that I've seen and just waited on because of price. I think High Voltage had one that wasn't in great shape. This is on Solid State. This is going to be Jimmy McGriff Step 1, $12. We are now into records from the Record Room, which is in Phoenix proper, I believe. Jimmy McGriff. This is going to be, I don't know if you say later Jimmy McGriff, but kind of probably in the middle as far as timeline wise. And he's great. His records generally are inexpensive, you know, like less than $25. He does have records that I've seen for around 40, and I think there might have been a couple more Jimmy McGriff records at the Record Room. The Record Room was larger and had probably, well, it was a bigger store than Desert Grooves. They're both like in a strip mall situation. The owner at the Record Room was also friendly gentleman. I also don't know his name. Well, I shouldn't say. I presumed he was the owner based on activity in the shop. He was very nice, friendly, and it kind of seemed like your classic record store situation, just based on the activity. I was in there for probably 45 minutes. Um, just the way he interacted with the people, you could tell that were regulars. I'm sure any of you guys that dig a lot and go to the same spots, whether you are a regular, you know the regulars, what have you, and just kind of the classic record store banter in a positive way. And it was just a fun place to be and kind of be a fly on the wall. It reminded me a lot of Lost in the Groove up in Mount Vernon, which is my favorite store, and the pricing seemed quite fair. It was the kind of place where, you know, things aren't drastically underpriced, but priced to move, if that makes sense. And I'm sure it does for a lot of you, you know. And I like talking about pricing because, and I don't know why so many people are hesitant to say what they pay for used records when they show them. I don't, you know, I guess sometimes it's because they have channels or dig places where they pay very little for records relative to their market value. And I understand people, you know, they don't want to upset people or make people feel like they're somehow superior in their ability to buy records because of how much they pay for them. However, I find it nice just as simply as like a data point, just like being able to go on Discogs Marketplace and look at what records have actually sold for in specific condition or whatever. You know, when people show records in the vinyl community and you trust them, it would, in my opinion, for me, it would be nice if more oftentimes people weren't so hesitant to just mention how much they paid for it, just so you kind of get an idea of the market in real time. And obviously there's many variables that go into that, you know, where you are in the country, and, you know, you might get, you know, if something's from a thrift store or what have you, or a record store. But anyway, this is going to be a long video, guys, so probably just going to do one whole video for the whole thing. There were several prestige titles that he had. This was also $12. This is Richard Holmes Spicy on Prestige. I have a catalog. I only cataloged a couple of these today so far. It's on the, I guess this would be the navy blue Trident label, I think is what people refer to this as. These look basically unplayed. Several, pretty much all of, I believe, the ones with the blue labels. The players on this include Gene Edwards on guitar, as well as Joe Jones, and George Randall on drums, Richard Landrum on conga. $12. Based on the first couple I cataloged of the Prestige titles, they were definitely below what they would be on Discogs if you were to just buy them, what they've sold for recently. These are in really nice shape. The discs are nicer than the jackets. The jackets do have some wear. This has a lot of, obviously, ring wear on the jacket, but the disc is nice. And this is Grant Green. Shades of Green is the album. It's a later Blue Note. It's at least in VG Plus condition. It has been played. It has a little bit of spindle wear. It's a United Artists on the label, and it has Van Gelder in the dead wax. It's stamped Van Gelder in the dead wax. Grant Green. Love Grant Green. As I said before, I'm a big fan of not just jazz guitar, all guitar, but jazz specifically, very much so the jazz guitar. This is In the Shrink, which I will remove. Blue Cheer, new improved, exclamation point. I don't have a clean copy of this. I have a copy that I shouldn't have bought from High Voltage for like $12. I think that was just not in good enough shape. I just don't do that anymore. I don't buy, in general, records that, if I don't think it's going to play well. And at this point, I've bought enough purchased enough used records, I feel, and listened to enough used records to know when, you know, it's nice to be optimistic and cautiously optimistic, and you know, hope you're getting a good deal, but ultimately that just in the end I think costs you more money. I don't really believe in placeholders as far as like if they're not, because if it's not clean, I'm not going to listen to it. And if I'm not going to listen to it, I don't want it. I don't want it just to have it, generally speaking. Obviously, like that Chuck Berry, or like I hold on to an original Buddy Holly self-titled that is really beat up, but it's just more quote unquote because it's an artifact. I mean, it's just cool to have. And I have other pressings that I'll actually listen to. So that's just a long way of saying that's probably the last album that I did that with. I'm proud of myself that I don't waste money doing that anymore. This is a upgrade copy of Mass in F minor, the Electric Prunes, original stereo on the tricolor label, reprised. That is a fun album that I would assume would be considered psychedelic rock. That is whatever, if that is psychedelic, that's the kind of psychedelic rock I'm into. This is another Trident Navy label, Brother Jack McDuff, Silk and Soul, stereo. It's in a laminated jacket. Has the original price sticker there. A couple bucks, $2.50. I think this is from the middle 60s, 1965-ish. There's a couple other, or at least one other, Brother Jack McDuff album. This is I've Known Rivers. It has Anthony Davis, James Newton, and Abdul Wadud. $12. This is on Gramavision Records, and the sleeve is shut, so I'm not going to take it out and deal with that right now until I clean it. But I have high hopes for this. It does have quite possibly the largest corner cut I have ever seen, and they like did it again. Definitely, that's a cut right there as well. $12. There were several Hank Crawford records, and I think this was the only one I picked up, but it is in very nice shape on a blue-green Atlantic label. I don't know how many or if any Hank Crawford records I have. Like I said, they had several, but this is in stereo, Soul of the Ballad. This is with the Marty Page Orchestra. And I like stuff that has the backing of an orchestra sometimes, you know, like a lot of people I think that are into jazz, sometimes it's a bit much or kind of detracts from the main players a little bit, but I'm a fan of the big band, and so $6. And also I didn't want to pick up a bunch of them because none of them were black label, like really early 60s or late 50s Atlantic pressings, but I don't believe any of them were red and green labels either. I think they were all plum or blue and green Atlantic labels. And I was uncertain on the vinyl quality and just general pressing quality of those, because the black label ones with the laminated jackets, I don't think I've ever had one that was actually like quiet enough to play. And I have several that look nearly unplayed or are just in visually quite good condition, and they're just always very, very noisy. This is Sweetwater. Again, I don't know if this is like their second or their third album. I assume they didn't make more than 2 or 3 albums. I could be completely wrong. I'm being presumptuous. This is on Reprise. I believe it's a like a first or early pressing. I can't imagine that got repressed a bunch. That's just for you. I have their first record. They're self-titled. I believe it's self-titled on Reprise, but it's a reissue that's I think pressed at like Rainbow or United or something. So it doesn't just noisy vinyl. This is a Tim Buckley album I did not have on Discreet Records. This is Sophronia, I believe is, and it's on the Frank Zappa Discreet Records, or I believe that's his label. It's in quite good condition, possibly unplayed. Definitely nothing but paper marks on it. It was $12. This was the highlight of the trip. This does have, unfortunately, an ink pen name, same name, and then a label down here. Otherwise, the jacket is minty. I just wish what was on the front wasn't on the front. But this is a first stereo Bob Dylan Highway 61 revisited with the alternate take of From a Buick 6 that was withdrawn with all the later pressings. Has the plastic bag, and he had it listed as EX. That is accurate. There is a about a 1-inch mark on the first track on the second side that is most likely from the pressing plant. And I checked earlier and it doesn't play, so I haven't cleaned it yet and listened to the whole thing. I just checked that because of being skeptical. But I mean, the jacket, it's just a shame that it has the name on the front, because if it's really clean. The edges, it doesn't have much foxing at all. But that was the highlight. I paid $180 for that. I haven't looked it up on Discogs, so I don't know if that was fair or what have you relative to the current market, especially with the writing on the jacket. And the jackets are unique to, I believe, the pressing plants. They a lot of times have this is has the digit 5 down here. They oftentimes have digits. I have several. I'm not an expert by any means on the pressing, on the differences in pressings. But I do have several copies of that, and there's some have no numbers, some do have numbers. There's also, I think, different. The text in the liner notes was edited at certain points. But with the condition of the disc, to me, there's certain records where it's just, you pay what you pay when you find a minty one, because the disc is flat, the disc is minty, it's going to sound as good as one of those is going to sound. I would have paid near that for one that didn't have the alternate take, or the original take, however you want to look at it. This, I believe, was a good value when I cataloged it. This is Expansions. It's Lonnie Liston Smith and the Cosmic Echoes. It's on Flying Dutchman. This is the white label, and it is, I believe, it was maybe all of them were, but it was pressed at RCA. It's in quite good condition. Was $35, and with the condition of the jacket, I would say that's a $50 record. If the jacket was nicer, it's probably a $70 record. This is Captain Beyond. I don't know, again, if this is where this falls in their discography. I have the first with the lenticular cover. This was $20. Captain Beyond. I really, really, really enjoy their self-titled. It's I don't. It kind of gets to me what I would at least analogize as spacey. This is John Renborn, and this is a UK pressing. The Lady and the Unicorn is $15. Very nice shape on Transatlantic Records. The other side of the label's color is quite sweet. I don't know if this is a first. I just know that, or I don't know. The knowledge I've absorbed is that with the John Renborn records versus the Reprise records, the UK versus the US Reprise, I believe they're on Reprise, that the UK it's kind of like a 9-day thing. Like you gotta have the UK ones. And so ironically, there's the other Sir John it's called Sir John Alada or something. I can't recall what it is. It's a black and white jacket. I have a US pressing, but and the sticks, self-titled. Like I said, I found if you watch my other videos, I found their second record, Wood and Nichols pressing. Last time at Half Price Books for $15, and this was this is a reissue. This is on RCA, Black Label RCA, so it's I believe it has to be a reissue. Yes, or I'm assuming it's a reissue, but have been looking for those because Dylan at Noble Records had always said that they were, even if you don't really care for their later stuff, that the early first couple records are quite good. So I'd always been looking for them, and now I got for the first couple. This is Charles Erlin Black Talk! Exclamation point again. It's another Trident, Navy Trident label. This was $25. It was in the shrink, obviously. The players on this include Virgil Jones on trumpet, Houston Person on tenor, Melvin Sparks on guitar, Idris Muhammad on drums, and Buddy Caldwell on conga. And when I saw Idris Muhammad was on it, that was a no-brainer for me. Also, just because I don't know if you're gonna find a nicer presentation. The little foxing on the opening where the shrink was off, but I mean, it's about as nice as it gets. This is the other Brother Jack McDuff with Gene Ammons. Brother Jack Meets the Boss. This was recorded in 1962. I believe it was pressed and released in the same year. It also includes Harold Vick, Eddie Deal, and Joe Dukes. That is on tenor sax, guitar, and drums, respectively. Prestige 7228, and this is I believe a little warped, and I'm hopeful I can flatten it. It was $15, but it is in otherwise quite nice shape. It is not perfect, but it is VG plus, and it is an original first pressing deep groove Bergenfield label, Fireworks label, mono. And I think I have just kind of one of those things where, like, having in an original 1500 series Blue Note first pressing or something, like, just to have one in general for I think a lot of people is kind of special, especially especially for people of average financial means, at least. If you have the dough, it's all relative. You can go get what you can go get. But it's cool to have you know, some of these earlier records have all the minutia that make it a first pressing, and just a little bit extra special from a collector's point of view, not always obviously from a sonic quality point of view. Yeah, I do have like a 50s Shirley Scott on Prestige. That's like the flat, not flat profile, or maybe it is a flat profile, but where it doesn't have the safety edge, I think is what it's, where the edge is just flat. There's no no lip. This is the gonna be all the records from Half Price Books. This is the Easy Rider soundtrack. It's like a second or third pressing. This is Hawk Lords, and the album is 25 Years On. This is from 1978 or 9. This is a UK pressing on Charisma. The inner sleeve is split. And this is basically, I shouldn't say basically, but it's many members, most of the members in the band are from the band Hawkwind. That was $12 from Half Price Books. This is going to be a upgrade copy of the Shaft soundtrack. It has the Enterprise label, not the blue box. I think the other one I have is the blue box, but this is very, very clean discs. Very clean discs. The other one is probably borderline VG plus. Some of the sides. I think one of the sides of one of the records is VG, and the rest of it's VG plus. So, but if you can't listen to all of it, that kind of is silly. So, upgrade copy was $13. I bought this because it just seemed like it was too good of a value for $15. Neil Young Harvest has the insert. It's a first pressing. It does have the name written on the jacket. If I can do a swapperoo with the other jacket I have if the disc is nicer, earlier, what have you, the insert, just to be complete. And then get rid of one. This is Duke Ellington and Rosemary Clooney, Blue Rose. This is was just the jacket is so beautiful. The condition, it's a laminate job. It's a 6i, so unfortunately the disc is probably not going to sound good, even though it looks like no one ever played it. As I find most, if not almost all, 6i Columbia records I have. It just seems like none of them sound good. It kind of goes back to like that Atlantic label thing. This was $10. This is Epitaph, Outside the Law. And this is going to be on Billingsgate Records. Some sort of hard rock situation, I believe. It was $10. Blues record, Electric Blues, Johnny Copeland, Texas Twister. This is like a UK pressing, so it would be on Rounder Records in the United States. It's on Demon Records in the UK. I don't think the label's nothing special. sleeves. I have plenty of inner sleeves to clean and catalog these, but I don't have enough outer sleeves. This is the Dave Clark 5 on Epic, You Got What It Takes, and I'm almost certain this is a common record, but it is a Dave Clark record that I don't think I've ever seen, which is kind of crazy, you know, like, it's one of those things where, like, my favorite record store, Lost in the Groove, you know, they have probably that many Dave Clark 5 records all the time, and I don't think I've seen that, but I know it's common. I've recently been listening to Little Feat a lot, so I've been trying to complete the catalog, and this is Down on the Farm. On Warner, it's on the Palm Tree label. I was kind of surprised that this doesn't sell for more, but it's obviously because it's common, and I guess not a more desirable of the 80s records in this vein, but this is on Sire. This is Modern English. Ricochet Days. It's got the insert in there. It was $8. Okay, last couple. Feature spot. LD Young and Red Holt on Cadet. This is in mono on the blue and white label. And then an upgrade copy. I have a minty one of these, but it has a wicked lip warp. Jay and the Americans, Sands of Time. Is that, yeah, Sands of Time. And it has the song that everybody knows, This Magic Moment. So I know I went on forever. Several digressions and tangential conversations there, but I appreciate you guys for watching. Red's over here taking a nap with her eyes open, which is always kind of a little hilarious. But I hope you guys have a good day, and we'll talk to you next time.